What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'll be making a full review for the Romancing Festival Esper Boy banner that brings Esper Boy, a full damage dealer for cold and lightning that has support. Also Esper Girl that has an upgrade to her damage and it's super nice by inheriting from the Halloween style, becoming a debuffer, and also BP battery. And key, a very nice support for will and ailment resistance. Well, let's start with Esper Boy. He's a very unique character. He uses martial arts weapon with the water element. Well, he comes with one on the event, and because of that, he has a focus on agility and intelligence. 122% intelligence is very good for non-buffed characters, and agility is also nice to have. He does not use STR or dexterity, that's why the values are low, but his endurance and will could be a little better, because usually mages have 90% will or higher. His love and charisma are just average. Moving for passives, when he lands an attack, he has a 50% chance to apply cold defense down and another 50% chance to apply lightning defense down. Those debuffs decrease values by 20% and they last for 2 turns. They can stack. And he does have chase mechanics, meaning that he can sometimes attack multiple times, having multiple chances to apply these debuffs. He will also recover 1 BP when attacking. The second passive, cold attack increases by 30% and lightning attack increases by 30% as well. These things will stack because his attacks have both elements. Then we have intrinsic and Arts 4, increasing damage potential at all times by 20%. When attacked and resisting, reduces damage taken by 40 and 37% chance to evade resisted attacks. So a total of 80% damage increase at all times, and it can get higher by applying the defense down. The good thing is that the defense down will also be used by other characters in your party if they are using these elements, so he does good damage and can help people do more. Skill number 1 is Telekinesis Charge. This does not do damage. It's free support. It's not fast, but doesn't matter. It could be better because it will grant his guard up small to be used before enemy attacks. This decreases damage taken by 12%, lasts for 2 turns, does not stack with other stances of guard up, but stack with defense boost. Then he grants himself this chain attack Storm Kinesis. This is actually nice because it will give him chains that last for 4 turns. Actually only 3 because this turn it's already counted for. And Storm Kinesis is his next skill that hits between 2 to 3 times with cold and lightning damage. And has C power. Well, C power with triple S weapons, it's like doing triple S damage. With just 8 BP. That's pretty okay. When you have 3 hits, it's like a 4S power attack, and this is for free once you use Telekinesis Charge. You have to use this on turn 1. It's the best approach to use this character. Then let's just talk about Tempest Veil. This is a full AoE attack with cold and lightning that's also fast. And grant all surviving allies defense boost medium, decreasing damage taken by 25% that lasts for 2 turns, and guard up medium that decreases damage taken as well by 25%, lasts for 2 turns. It has just B power, it's not that strong. This was stolen from Undine. Undine has it on her latest style, and she does not stay it in the meta. Well, we got better stuff, and he cannot even use this every 2 turns because he gets 4 BP and he needed 10 in order to do this. Unless you are using someone like Nawal's daughter or Liz in your party in order to give extra BP, it's really not that great. This guy is all about starting the fight with Telekinesis Charge. That will leave him with the guard up small and get his Storm Kinesis chase. On turn 2, you will use Storm Kinesis and then you will do damage. It will be higher as a command because this can be leveled up to 99, and then he will chase once. That means that you actually got 2 BP on the second turn. And then on the next turn, turn 3, you can use Telekinesis Charge again if you want. And then on turn 4, you attack with Storm Kinesis, and then you will chase 2 times. And from that point, you always chases 2 times when attacking, but you will be using Telekinesis Charge, Storm Kinesis. If you have BP batteries, you could theoretically just keep using Storm Kinesis, but I don't think that's really worth. And in some specific situations where you need extra damage reduction, you could just use Tempest Veil sometimes, but only if you have BP generation in the party. Like I said, people like Nawal's daughter, people like Liz, Sheree, but it should be more used as a damage dealer. But since the chase attack can also go from Tempest Veil, it helps, especially if there are multiple enemies. This guy has no inheritance, no future style. His damage is pretty strong, and I could say that he is similar to Ellen. Remember the latest Ellen? She has a very similar skill. In her case, it doesn't have the guard up, and in her case, she gets BP instead. And she gets this chain attack yo-yo plus, and that yo-yo plus in global, it's slash and blunt. The power is just E, and it does buff STR with each hit, so it does have some good things about it. While in his version, he has a higher power, but does not self-buff. But the guy will also compete directly with Silver, UDX style. People still use Silver for Cold and Lightning. You can use her skill Dragon Force, and she will be following up with Frost Levin. That has both Cold and Lightning, and she has an opener that has Cold and Blunt, and she can inherit an opener that is Slash and Lightning. You can just use her, and she has very good damage reduction. She has even 2 layers of damage reduction. And indirectly, also compete with Creator, because Creator also has a cycle where he uses lots of cold attack. Well, Glitter is cold, and if you inherit from his Halloween style, you can also use that skill called Sun Shower. That is cold, not exactly lightning. His lightning cycle comes from Rev, and you can see here, Purge. Yeah, Purge has lightning. So, well, those are the best characters to use for these 2 elements, in my opinion. And for cold, there is still Leon. Leon is an amazing cold damage dealer with his 3rd style. Well, having 2 different types of damage dealers is nice because some of them will scale from different elements. I do believe with the same scaling based on intelligence, his competition is Creator. But Esper Boy has something on his sleeve, that is to act as a damage dealer, but also as a support unit by using Telekinesis Charge, Tempest Veil, and Chase with Storm Kinesis. His damage decreases, but he offers more. It's like when people talk about Emilia, because she is a damage dealer that also gives heals and status buffs. When your damage dealer can offer more than just damage, well, something is nice about the character. But still, he's not really a game-changing unit, strong when applicable, and will receive a SSS grade in the tier list. But if you don't want to pull for him, he is also easy to skip. The next character is Esper Girl, and she's a very strong damage dealer, but also debuffer by inheritance. We have 120% intelligence and even 108% will. That's very nice for a support style. She suffers a little with 71 endurance and does have very good agility to be able to debuff the enemy, usually before it attacks. Love is on 74% because you can inherit healing spells. Moving on, she has 25% damage reduction at all times, starts the fight with 12 BP, and when she lands an attack, she will always debuff intelligence of the enemy and will by 5%. Well, this doesn't seem so high, but when you consider some other stuff, it will be good. Then when she launches any type of attack, she will also have a 50% chance to chase with Psychic Hunt. That skill is actually very interesting. This will apply Defense Boost Medium, decreasing damage taken for that turn by 25%, and it's both Heat and Shadow, meaning that she can also be used very well on Saruin squads if you want so. And she applies this passive that lasts for just 1 turn, that when you get attacked by spell attacks, you will recover 1 BP. That's for the whole party. Meaning that if you are fighting a boss that uses spells and you go and attack before this specific boss, you can actually get 3 BP to the party when using Psychic Hunt. It comes as a command or as a chase. If you use this as a command and get the chase as well, you would then recover 6 BP in that turn. That's actually pretty amazing, and the skill itself is not that strong, only has deep power, but more about that later. Then, on start of a turn, she gets this Elemental Enhanced Heat that will give her a 30% increase in heat damage and triggers 3 times per battle, meaning that on turn 3 she has 90% increase in damage. All of her spells are based on heat damage. Also, when landing a heat attack, she recovers 2 BP. That's actually very nice because some characters actually need to land weak attacks in order to fully work. In her case, no. She just uses heat attacks and gets BP. That's very good. Then she has maximum voltage. On the start of a turn, she gets heat up. That increases her damage potential by 30% as well. But this stacks 5 times to reach as much as 150% damage increase. Accounting for the elemental heat, by turn 5 you actually have 240% damage increase. That's really, really strong for a character that also acts as support. The first spell is Void Plus, and she has Heat and Shadow attack with C power and only 2 BP cost that before attacking buffs intelligence by 25%. This is nice because she can still chase and do higher damage because of Void. The second one is Psychic Hunt, the one that we discussed. So here it's interesting because if you use this skill as a command, you will always have this defense boost that increases damage taken by 25%, and you will always have this effect that can give you 3 BP up to by just receiving spell damage. Not all bosses will use spells, so not really helpful all the time, but something needs to be considered. If you use this as a command and then you get the chase, you actually have 2 defense boosts as well, reducing damage taken by 25% and then another layer of 25%. Well, this skill costs 6. She gets 5 BP per turn and starts with 12, meaning that she can actually use this as much as she wants for a lot of turns before she runs out of BP. And if you are using people like Liz or Nawal's daughter, she can use this forever. Now, there is one interesting fact about Esper Girl. She has competition with Death. Well, Death will always decrease his damage taken to the party by 30% passively, and he will also increase damage potential by 20%, has a revive, but he takes 1 LP from everyone in order to apply this. But remember that his skill called Dark Barrier also has defense down and defense boost. Defense boost is the same value. It's also a 6 BP skill. Shadow and Heat, and hers is also Shadow and Heat. But they can be used together just fine, and Death also heals, meaning that you can have at least 2 defensive boosts or even 3 if you are using both together, and if you have the chase from Esper Girl. Moving on, the last one is called Split Blaze. It's a single target attack that attacks random enemies between 2 to 3 times with big power. And she will recover all surviving alliance HP by around 300 because of her very big love each hit. So, you can recover around 600 by using Split Blaze, or 900 when you get 3 hits. Is this really, really great? I don't know. 12 VP is too much. Right now we have people like Polka with Steelblade Phoenix that uses only 9 and he will heal for at least 1.2 thousand. Meaning that he is much better for this setup. But let's say that you are in danger and you are using BP batteries like Sheree or Liz or Nawal's and you just want to use this. Her damage is pretty high and she has heat and shadow damage working on different scenarios. You can use her as just damage and use Split Blaze as much as possible. That's something that you can do. But she can also act as your main debuffer if you have her Hollowing style. That's a very good one that's meta right now in the game. You will not be changing much of your status. As you can see, they are pretty much similar, but they do work very differently. You want that Witch Streak skill, because this one will debuff 15% of all status and also remove all buffs from an enemy. And many bosses now will keep buffing themselves in order to do more damage, but also in order to apply ailments on you if they keep buffing their intelligence. Stage 210 from Spiral and many other stages will be like that. So, what changes is, now with Witch Streak and the Chase attack, some turns you'll be able to debuff intelligence by 25% or 20% if you don't get the inheritance value. So you are giving even extra debuffs. If a boss only uses Defy Weakness or something else on the end of turn, it's always better to use the new Esper Girl. But there are some other differences. For example, both recover 2 BP when attacking with heat attacks, but Halloween style has 1 extra BP on the start of turn, meaning that she gets at least 6 BP per turn, sometimes 8 when she chases with telekinesis. So you will lose the telekinesis chase, but you will get the other chase attack that will give you BP and defense boost. it's usually much better than the AoE heal, that's very small. So, I do believe that this is an improvement, but you lose 1 BP, so if you are running Liz or Now's daughter, you actually can't pay this price. Or even Shirei. Shirei already gives a lot of VP to the party anyway. The other thing you'll be losing is the damage block once per turn. That's pretty amazing, sometimes allows her to survive. But the newest Esper Girl will do at least double the damage of this one. It can act as your main fire damage dealer while also offering support. So it is an improvement, and much similar to what you got with the newest Polka, inheriting Steelblade Phoenix. You can still run Chef Polka, of course, but the newest one is a damage dealer, much like to this improvement on Esper Girl strategies. It's not to say that she does not have any other inheritance that matters. You could just inherit Healing Rod to revive on emergency situations, and you can also use Dimensional Aura to apply Cold and Shadow Defense boost alongside Guard Up Medium, and if you get the Chase skill, you can even apply another layer of defense, but this only lasts for 1 turn. It's pretty hard to use, and we already have Liz. Why use this type of stuff? And there is also this Dark Burn spell from the farmer version of Esper Girl. This one is interesting because it will apply Guard Down Medium, decreasing the defense of the enemy, Defense Down Medium, decreasing it even further, and then a Heat Defense Down. So 3 different layers to decrease the enemy defense, and even further if you are attacking with heat. And sadly, this only happens after she attacks. So you could use it with, for example, Ruby and the newest Polka. Remember that Ruby is a leader for fire damage, right? I don't know if it will be easy to slot Ruby in your party, but if you are running even Polka, it's okay, because Polka will be running delay most of the time. When you use Steelblade Phoenix, that means that he will always go after Esper Girl. So, it's an interesting inheritance, but not mandatory, just nice to have. And that means that you are probably running Esper Girl mostly as a damage dealer and occasional BP battery. So, Esper Girl is OP tier with inheritance. Without it, she stays on triple S because of her damage potential being pretty high still, and offering some type of support while doing enough damage. With all that said, I think if you don't have Halloween Esper Girl, you can skip her easily. And if you already have Esper Girl, you can still use her just fine, because she will stay relevant as she is. I'm not even saying that this one will replace the Halloween version all the time. Sometimes you may prefer to have the chains with a healing, or even that damage block. But this one will increase your damage output, and sometimes healing an enemy before a certain number of turns is better than prolonging the fight too long. So, easy to skip if you don't have Halloween Esper Girl, and if you do and you like the character, giving more options is nice to have. The last character is Ki, and well, she is a very interesting support. We have 71% endurance and 105% will. This is important because as support, she really needs to sustain and not take ailments. She have extremely high love and charisma, and just okay agility and intelligence. Agility needed to be much better though. Moving on, we have on the start of a round a buff to 35% to your will. That's the highest one possible and very good. Also, by the start of turn, she buffs all surviving allies status ailment resistance by very large effect. JP says that this value can be 45%, and she also buffs all surviving alliance will by 5%. This is meaningless most of the time. But man, this very large status augment resistance on start of turn, this stack, and you eventually protect yourself versus ailments easily, because this cannot be dispelled. And especially on stages like 180 and 210 now, she's gonna make a lot of difference. And you already start with some will buffs that helps reduce the amount of retries you need to do in a fight. Also, by the end of a turn, she gets 2 BP. Super overloaded passive. She has United Hope. This is old, and it's kind of like Scrum Guard, decreasing damage taken by 20% as long as everyone is alive, but it has an extra. When she dies, she recovers the HP of all other surviving allies by around close to 2000. That's right, she will heal them for quite a lot. But you don't want her to die, of course, and when she dies, you lose the Scrum Guard. She also reduces damage taken at all times by 30%, and by the end of a turn, we recover HP by around 300. Very nice kit for a character that's based on support. 0 damage increase. Moving on, skill number 1 is called Pure Veil. It's support, and it costs 3 BP. It's not fast though, and just remember that her agility is not that great. You should double promote this character and increase all hidden status as well. She then buffs Endurance and Will by 15% on rank 1 and 25% on rank 99. You have to manually level this up. She would then also buff all surviving allies ailment resistance by large effect. JP says it starts on 15% and gets as much as 25%. Now, say what you will, but you already have one via start of turn and then you get another one when using a skill. The only problem is the agility, and she has 5 people per turn, can use this whatever she wants. The second one is called Prayer of Purity. It's another support skill. This time it's recovery, it's also fast, and for everyone. She will then revive, recover HP by higher than 2000. She will also buff Will by 40% on max level, but only 30% on rank 1. And will also buff all ailment resistance again. JP doesn't say, but it may be 45% ailment resistance. So, this can only be used 2 times per battle. It does not use LP. So, very nice to use, but we will only be using this on emergency situations. The third one is Glacial Sphere. This time it's an attack, the only one. For 8 BP, you have a double S power attack, that is single target and does cold damage, and before attacking, it will buff all surviving allies Will by 40% on max level, and will also recover all surviving allies HP by around 300. Okay, so what should you be doing with this character? You can actually start the fight, use Pure Veil, and then Glacial Sphere. Keep the cycle. Well, she would need 11 BP to use this rotation, but if you have someone in the party like Liz or Nala's daughter, this will be fixed. You can then use Prayer of Purity when the time needs. Since it's fast, it will protect people and even allow you to get someone back from the dead before the enemy attack. Let's say that someone got killed in the past turn and you want to revive, and then you will still be able to protect that died character by buffing Will. One of the worst things about reviving someone is that when you revive, it loses all buffs. It usually dies again right after, unless you are on a fight, you have way too many other mechanics and you can't use someone to protect that person right after you revive. So it's another layer that will help you not get inflicted with ailments instantly. So the character has inheritance via a Platinum style that has 0 utility besides Cure Tome to, use it for emergency to revive someone after you already use her to Prayer of Purity. But the character is simple. It's a support that was made for hard challenge. That will be the only character that you need to protect versus ailments. Hence why she's just so good. I could say that her competition will mostly be Maria. Maria buffs all status, also recover when attacking, so the skill tree is kind of similar. Maria has Light of the Sun that recovers revives as well and gives evasion that can allow someone that just died to survive, but after the first hit, evasion is gone and it can be inflicted with ailments. So I do prefer most of the time his option, but Light of the Sun can also be used to evade some very specific nukes. Maria can buff ailment resistance with a skill that does not need to be manually leveled up, so that's good. But that's the only way to increase ailment resistance, while in the end your key can actually keep increasing ailment resistance no matter what she's doing. She just has it on start of turn. That 5% will buff is meaningless, but the character does have very good utility. Even when competing with Maria, they all have Scrum Guard, so similar. But in the end, both characters barely do any damage. They were designed to be used as support units to allow you to survive better, especially versus ailment. But Key is superior when talking about ailment resistance. Maria can buff other status, but since she doesn't have enough BP to buff every single turn unless you are using someone like Shirei, for example, Key is easier to slot. Will be more important from now on and replace Maria in 70% of the time. And I do believe she's better. We receive an OP grade, and in the future Maria will be demoted from her top grade. But that's it, guys. This banner is interesting because you have different types of utility here. Esper Boy is a damage dealer in occasional support if you have extra BP. Esper Girl is an improvement for the Halloween version, now dealing a lot of damage but also giving BP to the party occasionally. And Key is a very specific support that will be used from now on for lots of different hard challenges. And she removes the need to use 2 ailment resistance characters, and she is the whole kit. I do believe it's very worth to summon here, but even then I will give it a Silver Plus award because you don't have any must-have for all scenarios. Key is a specialist that will save many runs, but I cannot say that she is really a must-have. But it's a very specific type of unit that is worth to pull. I will be pulling on this banner on reset time. What about you? Please say here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you want to support the channel, we have links on the description of the video. And I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye!